It's official, the Pokemon Chaos Rising set has just been announced and it is scheduled to release on May 22nd. In this set, you can find a whole range of Pokemon products from booster boxes, half booster boxes, ETBs. As you probably know, this Pokemon set will be insanely hard to get your hands on. So in this video, I'm going to break down my exact setup for using automated bots to secure this drop. So first things first, let me break down my actual setup. If you don't have the right tools, you're going to be going nowhere when it actually comes to the drop. So first of all, in this whole process of getting 10 ETBs on one drop, is going to be the bot itself. I'm going to be using Stellar AI. This bot has performed so well. It is one of the biggest and probably the most dominating Pokemon bot in the UK right now. It absolutely rips it up on Pokemon Center drops where people are getting 10s, 20s, 50s on one drop, and it covers a whole bunch of sites, all of which we're going to cover in this video. The second layer that we need is our proxies. And proxies are how you get multiple different IP addresses so you can make multiple orders and the website will not flag you for doing so. There are many different proxies out there, but in this video, I'm gonna give you the best one that has been working for Pokemon Center in the UK. Proxy group number one that I'm gonna be running is Aurum ISPs. These are ISP proxies, which means you basically rent the proxies for 30 days. No one else can use them, and I have unlimited data so I can run my bot as much as I want. I've cleaned up 50s to hundreds of orders with these proxies in the last few months, and they have never failed me once. The second set of proxies I'm going to be running for the Chaos Rising drops will be residential proxies, and for that I'll be using IC Resis. I'll probably be using Private Plan V2 and the mobile proxies as well. Residential proxies work differently to ISPs. You rent them on usage. It's a pay-as-you-go plan. You buy 5 gigabytes worth of data. Once you've used them, you run out. I'm going to be using these for drops that are short stints, stuff like Argos, and I'll have good heads up and also Very as well. The thing to note with proxies is you want to run different proxies on different websites. I'm going to be running ISPs on Pokemon Center, whereas on Very and Argos, going to be using pretty much mostly residentials. For Very, I might use a few ISPs here and there as well. So now I know what you're all thinking. Where will Chaos Rising be dropping? But most importantly, what of them websites are bottable? Number one, Pokemon Center. It drops online. It's a relatively slow burning drop because of the queue system, but the best thing about it as well is they drop Pokemon Center ETBs where you can't get anywhere else, and these have a much higher market value than normal ETBs. It is totally possible to get 50 orders on Pokemon Center off, and it is the best chances you have of getting loads and loads of product from one website. Number two on my list is always Very. Very is a retail store that drops Pokemon. They drop it online. Very is a cart hold website. It basically means when you add a box of Pokemon to your cart, it basically can't be checked out by anyone else. Very usually load the products in the morning, and then they'll do a couple of waves throughout the day where each chance you have chance to buy more Pokemon. And moving on from there, we have Argos and John Lewis. Essentially, John Lewis is first come, first serve online, so you have to set up your bot before the drop, whereas Argos is a little bit different. Argos is also first come, first serve, but it is a collection only pretty much if they drop it online. They are the main 4 websites for botting Pokemon in the UK, but before we get onto and in detail of how to run Pokemon Center, there's another type of sites that you can bot as well. And these are local trading card game stores. They are Shopify websites. The websites work the same, so the bots have Shopify modules, so you can essentially put in any Shopify website, then the bot can bot pretty much any Shopify website. So far we've gone over what bot we should use, what proxies, what sites are potentially dropping, and a bit about how they work. And I want to give you an in-detail guide of how to run for Pokemon Center, what it takes, and everything you will need to keep your eye on. First of all, most people think you can set up a bot, you can run it beforehand, and it will just crack on behind the scenes without you needing to touch it. That is not the case. It's probably one of the most hands-on drops. You ideally need to be around to run Pokemon Center successfully, but while it is such a big drop in the botting world, you'll find that 99.9% of the hardcore botters are out there, know when Pokemon Center's dropping, they're always around, and they're always ready for the drop to be there. So when it comes to Pokemon Center, you first need to set up capture solvers within the bot, because for each task you are running on Pokemon Center, you need to solve a capture to get that task in the queue. The trick is, once you've set up your capture solvers, I recommend putting no proxy in the capture solvers. I recommend enabling auto click on the capture solvers, and I also recommend running the bot on your local PC to massively increase the amount of one clicks that you will get. If you have it running on your local PC and you have auto click enabled, as soon as the Pokemon Center queue goes live, your bot will automatically start, and the bot will automatically click the capture and put all your tasks in the queue very fast. One thing you need to be careful of there is you need to be careful that you don't go in the queue too quick. Pokémon Center only usually drops stock after 5 to 15 minutes after the queue goes live, and ultimately lead you having to get in the queue at the back again and ultimately getting no Pokemon. So you want to play around with your module unlock delay on that. I recommend at least over 5,000 to find the sweet spot. The next thing we need to be aware of is waiting for the drops to happen. As soon as you find out the product links, there'll be a link to our Botting Mentorship in the description to get all that information. But as soon as you find out the product URLs or the product IDs, you need to live update your bot while your tasks are still running to the right product IDs. So when your tasks come out of the queue, they will automatically start checking out the products you want on Pokemon Center. Another thing to note as well is you also want to check the quantities. In the bot, you would want to put your quantity to 2, but I always recommend leaving your minimum quantity to 1. Because what that will do, if the minimum cart quantity was 2, the bot would not proceed to checkout. So just leave minimum cart quantity as 1. The bot will always try to go for the quantities that you set, and if it doesn't, it will just try checking out. Well, what happens if Pokemon Center drop booster bundles and ETBs at the same time? In that case, leave minimum cart quantity as 1, leave quantity as 4, and then when it goes to actually add your ETBs to cart, it will realize the limit's 2, and it will just add the 2. It won't fail because it's trying to add 4. At that point, it's smooth sailing from there. Once you've got the items in your cart and they're going to checkout, provided that your profiles are all set up right, you'll be getting loads of checkouts and it should all be well. That is a quick 101 on Pokemon Center. Make sure you're running ISPs, preferably all ISPs. Make sure you're there for the drop. Make sure you got 1 clicks going, and good luck with the rest. Now I'm going to save everyone a lot of pain and just go over 3 common mistakes that I see people making all the time. But before that, if you want to find out when the queues are going live, if you want to find out when Very's dropping, what the product IDs are, the best proxies to use in case anything changes, any Shopify drops, anything like that, then check out the Botting Mentorship. The link will be in the description. Number 1 massive common mistake I see all of the time on Pokemon Center. When you're creating your profiles on Stellar AI, you have to put in your card type, Visa or MasterCard. You will be so surprised about how many people put in the card is a MasterCard when the card's actually a Visa. When you're adding 10 profiles, people must just overlook it. So make sure to double check that. It's a costly mistake that could really shaft you. The number 2 mistake that I see a lot of people making is just focusing on one site like Pokemon Center. In botting, you always need to spread your risk. You're going to be going for the stores of likes of Argos, John Lewis, Pokemon Center, Very, the local TCG stores, trying as much stuff as possible in case one site flops out. You've always got them other sites as backups to get products from. And this is the difference between the pro botters and the beginner botters. The pro botters are constantly looking at them control variables, the things that they actually have control over and can change, and spreading that out to reduce the chances of failing. Mistake number 3 that I always see people making is running residential proxies on Pokemon Center when they do not work. And the reason for this is because 99.9% of residential proxies out there are rotating, meaning eventually the IP address will reset and the session room will be reset as well. And for Pokemon Center, for example, when you are in the queue and you are counting out your queue position, if you've got 60 minutes left in the queue until you're through and you can actually purchase the products, if your IP address changes while you're in the queue or even after you're out the queue, you will be booted out of the queue and you'll have to re-queue and go to the back. It happens all of the time on residential proxies. I see tons of people doing it. It's ISPs or it's DCs. And if you want more guidance on getting Chaos Rising, if you want that full detailed setup for Pokemon Center, Very, Argos, loads of other sites to join an absolutely amazing botting community full of pros and beginners, have full video libraries of exactly how to do it from start to finish, then click below, check out the Botting Mentorship, and people, drop a comment on this video. If you have any questions about botting in general, I will answer them. I'll reply to your guys' comments, and I may even make some videos on some of your guys' questions. Everyone, I will see you in the next one.